The Johnson Wax Program. The makers of Johnson's Wax and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat present Fibber McGee and Molly, Incident 259, written by Don Quinn. Music by the King's Men and Billy Mills Orchestra. The show opens with Our Love Affair. Haven't you often noticed how important floors are to the appearance of a home? It is a fact that mellow, gleaming, waxed floors bring out the beauty of everything in the room, adding a rich charm that you can acquire in no other way. Throughout America, there are countless floors that are made more beautiful every year with Johnson's Wax. Every application of this famous floor wax gives increased protection and beauty. Johnson's Wax gets down into the pores of the wood, seals out dirt, protects the finish against scuffing feet and sharp heels, and it does away forever with tiresome floor scrubbing. And besides its use on floors, there are more than 100 extra labor-saving uses in your home for genuine Johnson's Wax. Protects and beautifies furniture and woodwork, windowsills, parchment lampshades, leather goods. You can buy Johnson's Wax in the familiar paste or liquid form, or in the new cream wax, especially formulated for easy use on furniture and woodwork. Order some tomorrow. It will probably be news to everybody that Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve keeps a diary. And it'll be bad news to Mr. Gildersleeve that a careless maid has thrown it out on the trash pile. But heaven knows what will happen when he discovers that it was picked up by Fibber McGee and Molly.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Imagine me, of all people, finding Gildersleeve's diary. We sure got the goods on the old rumble-tumby this time, haven't we, Molly? I bet this is going to be rich reading.
Well, how can you read it? It's got a padlock on it.
Oh, padlocks can be picked.
Why, that would be just plain burglary.
Whoever got pinched for opening a book?
My Uncle Dennis did. He opened a book at 14th and Oak Streets, and the cops raided the joint before the first race was over.
Well, be that as it may or may not be, or not, I'm going to open this diary and read it.
Now, look, McGee, I'm pleading with you. I beg of you, don't pry into Mr. Gildersleeve's diary. It's none of our business, and we have no right to. Could you open it with a nutpick?
Hey, that's an idea. Give me a nutpick.
We haven't any nutpicks, but I could run over to... Heavenly days, hide that diary quick. It's Mr. Gildersleeve.
Oh, my gosh. Here, you take it.
Oh.
No, I'll hide it. No, you better take it. No, I'll sit on it. Oh, darn that padlock.
Calm yourself, calm yourself. Come in.
Oh, there, Mrs. McGee. Hello, Fibber.
Did you... Oh, hi, Gildersleeve.
What's the matter with him, Mrs. McGee? What makes him so twitchy?
Well, I'm sure I don't know, Mr. Gildersleeve. Something wrong, dearie?
No. Whatever it is, I'll get over it. In fact, I got a feeling I'm right over it. I mean, I'm over it right now. Hey, Gildersleeve, you carry any keys with you?
Why, certainly, McGee. I always carry quite a bunch of keys. You see?
You got one, a little tiny one, say, that would open a briefcase?
Yes, indeed. Here you are. I think this little one will do it.
Ah, what a cute little key. What's it for, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Why, that's the key to my... let me see. What is that the key to? That's odd. I don't seem to remember, McGee.
You don't, eh?
Ah, you men always carrying keys and not even knowing what they open.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Wait a minute. What are we laughing at?
I don't know.
Search me.
Silly, isn't it? Well, here's the key, McGee.
Thanks, Gildy. I'll return it to you tomorrow.
No hurry. What's mine is yours, you know.
Yes, he knows.
By the way, McGee, I almost forgot. Here's a fish for you.
A fish? For me?
Yes. My brother came home with a big mess of trout.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Hope you enjoy it. Cost about $18.
I thought your brother caught it.
He did, and the game warden caught my brother. Well, good day, folks.
Did you get that, Molly? Get the idea? He's trying to bribe me. That's what he's doing.
Bribe you to what?
Not to open this diary.
He doesn't even know you got his diary.
That makes it worse. Trying to bribe me even before he knows what's happened. That settles it. Now I will read it. Give me that little key. There.
Oh, dear, this is a shameful thing we're doing, McGee. It's like reading somebody else's mail. I'm so ashamed. Well, for goodness sakes, what does it say?
Boy, he's sure been keeping this diary a long time. Look, it says Friday, August 19th, 1911. Stayed in bed all day today. Saturday, August the 20th. Stayed in bed all day again today. Sunday, August the 21st. Stayed in bed all day. Monday, August the 22nd. Pants returned from cleaners. There's a note here that says, in future, don't send pants out on Friday, as it makes for a tedious weekend. Hey, Molly, wait a minute. I just thought of something.
What?
I'm leaving my fingerprints all over this diary.
Aha, I thought your conscience would finally catch up with you. Now then, are you going to close up that diary and give it back to Mr. Gildersleeve?
What else can I do?
You could wear gloves.
Huh? I never thought of that. Where are my gloves?
In the hall closet.
In here?
Yes, on the shelf there.
Okay, as soon as I put these on. Hey, Molly.
Yes?
Remind me to straighten out this closet tomorrow. Hey, Molly, come here a minute. This is wonderful stuff.
What is?
This diary of Gildersleeve's. Here's an item for Friday, October the 23rd, 1929. Hey, that must have been the day the stock market crashed.
What makes you think so?
Well, all Gildersleeve has got down here for that day is, oh, my goodness. Come in.
Hi, mister. What you doing? What you?
I'm reading, sis.
What you reading?
A diary. A diary. You know what a diary is?
No, what?
Well, a diary is a sort of a personal fairy tale with yourself as the hero. You keep a diary?
No.
Well, why not?
I don't like fairy tales, I bet you. Gee, I quit reading them years ago.
What you read now, sis?
Oh, John Steinbeck and Eugene O'Neill and Ernest Hemingway and all stuff like that there.
Sis, do you mean to stand there with your little cheeks full of roses and your little tongue full of thorns and tell me you don't like Cinderella or Jack the Giant Killer anymore?
I do.
Well, what on earth is...
Now listen.
Hmm?
What did the fairy godmother ever give Cinderella that Scarlett O'Hara didn't get the hard way? Then you take, for instance, Jack the Giant Killer.
Huh?
Why, he's a cream puff.
Oh.
He'd be a pushover for Superman.
I'll bet there's one fairy tale you still like.
What?
Little Red Riding Hood. All the kiddies like that one.
Not me, mister.
What? You don't like Little Red Riding Hood?
No.
Why, think of that beautiful golden-haired little girl, full of trust and innocence, with a heart full of love and a basket full of groceries. Alone in that secluded cottage with a vicious, cruel, bloodthirsty animal.
Ah, boy.
You mean you don't feel the slightest twinge of sympathy for Little Red Riding Hood facing that terrible fate?
Emotionally, mister, it leaves me undisturbed. And intellectually, I have only the utmost contempt for any little twerp, golden hair or no golden hair, who can't tell her own grandmother from a wolf.
That dreaded kid. Book publishers better get busy on some new children's books. Looks like their Mother Goose is cooked. Let me see now. What did I do with Gildersleeve's diary? Oh, yeah.
I have it right here, dearie. Listen to this item. It says, Dear Diary, I took my first airplane flight today.
Uh-oh.
It was a wonderful sensation, and I predict the day will come when people will travel from coast to coast in an airplane in 10 hours.
Say, that was a pretty smart hunch of Gildersleeve's.
Yeah?
How long ago did you write that?
Well, let me see. Last Sunday.
Hey, Molly, let me take that diary. I want to see how many women there was in his life.
Well, I've been all through it, and there's just one. He married his childhood sweetheart. Isn't that romantic?
It's romantic, but it's awful dull.
Why, it's no such a thing. Mr. Gildersleeve is just a one-woman man.
Yeah, I know. You'd call it faithfulness, and he'd call it love, but I'd call it just plain unpopularity.
Well, now, just remember the old saying I just made up. If you're on the square, you can't be around her.
Yeah, and a guy who keeps his feet firmly on the ground will never kick a field goal either. Come on, let me take that diary. I'd only got to the part where Gildersleeve...
Well, hello, folksies. What's doing?
Hello, Mr. Wilcox.
We stumbled across Gildersleeve's diary, Harlow. Imagine that big beanbag keeping a diary.
Well, why not? I keep one.
What?
You do?
Certainly. My diary is simply a record of all the women who have loved me.
Oh, sure.
One of my dearest possessions.
Well, heavenly days, hear the man talk.
Look here now, tall, dark, and mistaken. Don't give me that great lover business. I've known you for a long time, and the only heartburning you've caused women was from taking them to cheap restaurants.
Now, wait a minute, short, sharp, and shapeless. I didn't claim to be a great lover. I was referring to the women who love me because of what I've done for them, like bringing Johnson's self-polishing glow coat into their lives. Why, I've been instrumental in giving thousands of women more leisure, more health, and more happiness.
You mean every time a woman looks at a dirty old-fashioned mop, she thinks of you?
Yes. No, I mean, I represent the hours of drudgery saved by using Johnson's glow coat. Why, when I consider that a housewife just has to pour a small amount on the floor, spread it around, let it dry with no rubbing and no buffing to get a beautiful polished kitchen linoleum in 20 minutes or less, why, it just makes life worth living to me.
Uh-huh.
I go home at night so proud and happy, I pour out my gladness to my diary.
Oh.
It's all so wonderful, so beautiful. Oh, but you wouldn't understand.
I understood him. Well, we just solved the secret of perpetual emotion, Molly. Just talked to Wilcox about glow coat.
Yes, he thinks the capital of the world is Racine, Wisconsin. And is there anyone in our little group who thinks otherwise?
Smart bunch of actors. Where was I in this diary, Molly?
Hello, Peter. Hello, Cupid.
Why, hello, Mr. DePopulis.
What's on your mind, Nick?
I was just passing you up when I happened to think about the football game we're going to. How are we going?
Well, we're all going in our car, Mr. DePopulis.
Yeah, we'll all chip in for gasoline. Say about $3 a piece.
$3. Anybody said $3 a piece is being a famous every case, about $24.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, which way are we going? By the Burma Road?
Oh, we'll have a wonderful time, Mr. DePopulis. You and us and Mrs. Uppington and Mr. Boomer and Mr. Wilcox and Mr. Gildersleeve.
And the old-timer.
Well, that certainly is a heterogeneous collection of personalities, isn't it? If I do say so myself, and why shouldn't I? I'm one of them.
Why, you're three of them, if the fact were known.
That's pretty good, Cupid, but that ain't the way I hear it. All wrong characters. Say, what is that little volume of a book you have there, Fizzer?
Oh, this happens to be Gildersleeve's personal diary, Nick. Pretty mushy reading, too. That guy drips like a rented bathing suit.
Is that so? Well, I hope for the heavenly sakes of goodness that Mr. Goldensleeve is unaware of the facts that you're reading out of his diary.
Hey, you ain't going to mention this to him, are you, Nick?
Oh, now, Fizzer, are you afraid of this man Goldensleeve?
What do you mean, afraid of him? Why, I can take old Gildersleeve like nobody's business. One swing from me and he'll be hearing music from them heavenly zephyrs.
You mean zippers.
I think he means a heifer.
I do not. A heifer is a guy that dances in vaudeville.
That's a hooper.
Well, then what's a zephyr?
It's a horse with stripes on it.
Nah, that's a zebra.
Got to do with Gildersleeve.
Nothing, unless Goldensleeve has got a striped heifer that dances in vaudeville. And if he has, it's too bad because there's no vaudeville. Well, so long. I'll see you later, kid.
The King's Men singing I Dream of Jeannie with the light brown hair. I dream of Jeannie with the light brown hair, born like a river on the summer air. I see her tripping where the bright streams play, happy as a daisy dancing on her way. Now the lovely flowers die and wither on the shore. Now her gentle fingers caress them no more. Oh, I dream of Jeannie with the light brown hair, floating along the zephyr on the soft summer air. Many are the lovely notes her merry voice would pour. Many were the songbirds that warbled them o'er and o'er. Oh, I for Jeannie with the light brown hair, born like a zephyr on the soft summer air.
That was great, boys. That's the best yet. Hey, Musty, listen
Oh,
to this.
here.
Huh?
Put Mr. Gildersleeve's diary away, McGee. It's Mrs. Uppington.
Not Mrs. Abigail Uppington.
In the flesh. In the powdered, painted, and well-girdled flesh.
Not so loud. The old moose will hear you. Come in, Abigail.
How do you do, my dear?
Hello, Mrs. Uppington.
And Mr. McGee.
Hi, Uppity. Say, that's a pretty weird pair of riding breeches you got on there.
Please, Mr. McGee. These are job tours.
Oh.
Well, I hope they fit him better than they do you, Abigail. But won't you sit down, dearie?
No, thank you. I've been riding for 3 hours in the park, and no, thank you.
Oh, and how it is, Uppy. I used to own a great little saddle horse myself. Very high-spirited, too. Should have seen him roll his eye.
No, that wasn't high spirit.
Huh?
He was just trying to see if he was still pulling a streetcar. You have your own personal horse, haven't you, Mrs. Uppington?
Why, yes, my dear. Oh, he's so sweet, really.
Yes, sir.
And so well trained. Yes, he's a high school horse.
Oh.
You don't say. I heard a few whinnies at the commencement exercises, but I thought it was the principal.
Oh, my. I simply love to ride.
Yeah.
When I'm cantering through the park, all my cares fade away. I feel as free as a bird.
Yeah, but you can't fool a horse, Uppy. He knows there's more than a handful of feathers in that saddle. Ouch, Dad, dreaded I sat on that padlock again.
Padlock?
Yes, this padlock is on a book, Mrs. Uppington. Don't say anything, but we come across Mr. Gildersleeve's diary.
Yeah.
It gives his personal history from way back. See, here it is.
What? And Mr. Gildersleeve's own diary? Oh, let me see it.
Hey, go, Mrs. Uppington. Stop it. McGee, help me here.
No, I just want to see it.
No, you can't. No. Dad, Brandon, Uppy, let go of that book. Ah, that's better. Hey, what's this diary to you, Uppy?
What is it to me? Well, if you come across any entry dated June 21st, 1912, about Throckmorton taking a canoe ride with a certain young brunette...
Yeah, but you're a blonde, Uppy.
Not in 1912. Oh, what am I saying?
McGee, I'll bet she runs right over and tells Mr. Gildersleeve we've got his diary.
What, you mean she ain't discreet?
Discreet. That woman whispers like a taffeta petticoat.
I'll tell you what I better do, Molly. I better run around.
Are you in there, McGee?
Oh, dear. Here it comes, dearie. Better roll up your sleeves.
Oh, my gosh.
I said your sleeves, not your trousers.
How can I climb a tree with my pants catching on every little...
How do you do, Miss McGee? Good day, Fibber. It's a lovely day, isn't it?
Yes, it is, Throcky, old pup. Peach of a day. How's everything with you?
Don't you how's everything with me, McGee. Where's my diary?
Diary?
Diary? Well, let me tell you what happened, Gil. You see...
I don't care what happened. All I know is that by hook or crook you took my book.
Why didn't you write poetry like that in your diary, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Never mind my diary.
Yes, never mind his diary, Molly. And I don't mind saying I'm glad to get off the subject. How about this Notre Dame football game, Gildersleeve?
Don't you try to change the subject, McGee. I'm going to thrash you within an inch of your life.
No. You leave him alone, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Oh, I ain't scared of him, Molly. Here, take your old diary, Gildersleeve. And you know what?
What?
On page 713, under March 12th, 1919, you spelled hangover with 2 G's.
No! That's enough, McGee. Take off your glasses.
He doesn't wear glasses.
I do, too. Look.
Well, where on earth did you dig those up?
Take them off, McGee. Why, you little book napper, I'm going to hammer you into a meat pie and cover you with your own crust.
You just try it. I'll give you one punch in that paunch, and you won't wake up till the swallows come back from Castropano.
You're a hard man, McGee. But I'm going to soften you up right now. Come on, put up your dukes. Here I come.
Okay. But
I'll get you. I've been ready to do this for...
Boys, stop that noise. Can't you see I'm talking on the telephone?
Oh, excuse me, Molly.
Sorry, Mrs. McGee.
Have a chair, Gildersleeve. She'll be through in a minute.
Very well, McGee.
Have a cigar?
Thanks, I have one.
You got 2? Thanks.
Hello? Oh, yes, it is. No, the diary belongs to a next-door neighbor, Mr. Gildersleeve. No, Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve. What? Well, just a minute, he's right here. What does the P stand for, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Philharmonic. My father played the oboe in Philadelphia. But who wants to know what...
No, it's Throckmorton Philharmonic Gildersleeve. No, I think the diary's the only thing he's written.
Hey, what's the idea?
What? Yes, we knew it had great literary merit the minute we got a hold of it. Yes, indeed. No. Oh, no, I'm sure he wouldn't sell the rights to it.
Here, wait a minute. By George, I don't know whether
Pipe down, Gildersleeve. You don't know what this is all about. Either.
Yes? Well, I'll inquire, but I don't think $10,000 in royalties would interest him at all. No.
$10,000?
All righty. Oh, don't mention it. Goodbye. All right, McGee. Give the big crybaby his diary and let him go home.
Here, Gildersleeve. Take it.
Now, wait a minute, folks. $10,000. Maybe I was a bit hasty. What about this about a publisher wanting my diary?
Oh, what difference does it make? No publisher would touch the thing anyway in its present form, and it would cost $25 to make carbon copies of it.
Oh, I'll gladly pay that. Here's $30. You do what you can to promote it for me, and I'll give you a generous slice of the profits. Is it a deal?
Well, I don't know after the way you act.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, Mr. McGee. I really am. I was a bounder. Gildersleeve, you're a cad. I'm going to leave my diary here, folks. Now I'll go and leave you to your work. I don't know how to thank you. Both. Good day.
Hey, Mom.
What? Quick, McGee.
Huh?
Give me that $30 and get your hat.
What for? Where are we going?
Down to the telephone company and pay our bill. Our phone's been shut off for 2 days.
What? It has? Oh, sure.
Fibber and Molly will be back in just a moment. In the meantime, let me suggest that right now is a good time to protect your linoleum floors with Johnson's self-polishing Glow Coat. Bad weather days are ahead. You know how hard it is to keep the children and delivery boys from tracking across the kitchen floors with wet, soggy feet. But if these floors are protected with Johnson's Glow Coat, you won't have to worry because a damp cloth will quickly make them clean and sparkling again. Glow Coat brings out the beauty of linoleum, keeps its colors fresh and clear. Many users tell us that Glow Coat actually makes their linoleum last 6 times longer than if it were unprotected. And, of course, one of Glow Coat's principal advantages is that it's such a wonderful labor saver. It requires absolutely no rubbing or buffing, you know. You simply apply and let dry, and in 20 minutes you have a floor to be proud of. If you don't already have Johnson's self-polishing Glow Coat on hand, buy some from your dealer.
Folks, next week we're taking the whole gang to the Notre Dame West Point football game in our car.
Oh, McGee, wait a minute.
Huh?
What are you going to do about those 2 flat tires?
Uppington and Gildersleeve? Oh, just throw them in the rumble seat and ignore them.
Oh.
Good night.
Good night, all.
When you buy any one of the Johnson Wax products, you get your full money's worth in satisfaction. Be sure to ask your dealer for Johnson's self-polishing Glow Coat for your linoleum, Johnson's Wax for your floors, furniture, and woodwork, and Johnson's Car New for your car. All these superior products are manufactured by S.C. Johnson & Son Incorporated, Racine, Wisconsin. We hope you'll be with us again next Tuesday night, same time, same station. This is Harlow Wilcox bidding you all good night.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.
The Johnson Wax Program. Makers of Johnson's Wax and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coats present Fibber, McGee, and Molly, Incident 260, written by Don Quinn, music by the King's Men and Billy Mills Orchestra. The show opens with The Sun Will Be Up in the Morning. How many of you can remember when Saturday used to be floor scrubbing day in your mother's kitchen? Perhaps you can still remember her calling out, "Don't go in the kitchen, I've just scrubbed the floor." And then there were those newspapers spread all around to protect the linoleum while it was drying. Of course, we know now that wasn't really protection, and that continually scrubbing the linoleum was actually ruining it. First, the colors would fade, then the linoleum would develop cracks and bumps, until finally it had to be replaced. Think of how glad your mother or grandmother would have been to have Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat. The no-rubbing floor polish that saves so much work, makes linoleum so beautiful, and makes it last so long. Glow Coat is a time and labor saver, and a money saver, too. With Glow Coat protecting your linoleum floors, your kitchen is easier to keep clean, and the colors are fresh and bright. If you aren't already using Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat, try some tomorrow. Yes, the gang's all here, all ready to pile into Fibber's car for a merry trek to see the Notre Dame West Point football game. And in the McGee jalopy, it's a good trek if they do it. Here's Mrs. Uppington, Horatio K. Boomer, Mr. Gildersleeve, the old-timer, Billy Mills, Nick DePopoulos, yours truly, and Fibber McGee and Molly.
Okay, everybody, I guess we're all set. Is everybody here, Molly?
Well, I think so, McGee. Will you please sit in the back seat, Mrs. Uppington?
Oh, of course, my dear. And I suppose, as there are so many of us, I shall sit on someone's lap.
I guess you better at that, Uppy. Sit on Gildersleeve's lap. Oh, no, don't. He ain't got any lap.
Now, look here, McGee.
She can sit on Billy Mills' lap. Can't she, Mr. Mills?
Why, sure she can. And I'm glad it isn't going to rain today.
How do you know it ain't going to rain, Mr. Mills?
I just had my pants pressed. Oh. So I knew it'd either rain or something, and this is something. Come on, Snooky.
Well, now let me see. Where's Arlo Wilcox?
Here I am, Molly. But don't you think before we start, I'd better touch up the car a little
Put
with
that can of car new away and get in, Wilcox.
Johnson's car new. As long as we're mentioning it, we might as well go all the way. Move over, Billy.
Mr. DePopoulos, now you sit next to Mr. Wilcox. Huh?
Sure, Cupie. Have you got room in the back seat for this big chunk of ice?
Ice? What'd you bring ice for, Nick? Oh, soft drink?
No, Fisher. But if it gets hot driving, the radiator is liable to boil over. And if it's that hot, the ice will melt and it'll be water for the radiator. You got me?
Well, why bring ice? Why didn't you just bring some water?
I thought of that, Cupie, but I couldn't carry it with these ice tongs.
Well, climb in, Nick.
We'll have to double up, DePopoulos. Do I sit on your lap or do you sit on mine?
Let's flip a coin for it, Golden Sleeve. Have you got $50?
Why, yes, I have.
Good. Give it to me and you can sit on my lap.
Say, where's the old-timer, McGee?
I don't know. He was here a minute ago. Hey, old timer.
Here I am, Johnny.
Where?
Back here in the luggage compartment.
Well, heavenly days. Is there room for you in there?
Nope, but I didn't realize that till I got in, daughter.
Well, if it's too uncomfortable, old timer, let a little air out of that spare tire and use it for a cushion.
I've been trying to, Johnny. This jackknife of mine seems to be too dark. Yeah, that's better.
Well, I guess we're all set, dearie. Have you got the road map?
Road maps?
Yes, the road map.
Road maps.
You know those big pieces of paper that show you the best roads to take, which always happen to be the roads with the most filling stations of the company that puts out the map?
Oh, my gosh, the road maps. Oh, I'm glad you mentioned them. I left them in the house. I'll be back in just a few minutes, folks. See, I think I left them in the hall closet here. Hey, Molly.
Yes?
Remind me to straighten up that hall closet when we get home.
All right, dearie. And Mr. Boomer wants to know where he's going to sit.
Now, get in the back with the rest, will you, Boomer?
Why should I be the exception, Winsor?
Oh, come. Let us be going, Miss McGee. Oh, I'm so impatient to get started that I... Oh, William. Was that you kissing me on the back of the neck, you dear boy?
No, baby, that was my Notre Dame pennant.
Well, if everybody's all set...
Oh, wait a minute, McGee. We're awfully crowded back here. Can't one of us sit up in front?
You stay where you darn are, Gildersleeve. Don't forget, me and Molly have got the lunch basket and the road maps up here.
Besides, this car was built before they made front seats for 3 people.
This car was built before there were 3 people.
Quit crabbing, Gildersleeve. Okay, Molly, hop in.
Okay. Well, here we go. Hang on to your hats, everybody.
Okay.
It's going to be fun.
Oil must be a little stiff.
Well, that's much the best way to go to a football game, I'm thinking.
Dad-drat the dad-dratted thing. Now, just... Hey, Molly, did you clean them spark plugs yesterday like I told you?
Yes, dearie. And they scratched up my washing machine, something terrible, too.
Oh, sweetheart. Oh, boy.
Oh, well, am I too heavy on your lap, William, dear?
No, baby. Did you ever play any football?
Oh, you silly boy, of course not. Why did you ask?
I was going to ask you to shift your backfield a little. That's better.
Choke it a little, will you, Molly?
With pleasure, and it's much too good for us.
Oh, ain't this a panic, folks? It won't start.
Why, it's excruciating, McGee. That noise reminds me of my Uncle Dennis. He used to grind his teeth just like that in his sleep.
I know. He never got started either. Oh, well, I'll be him.
Hi, everybody. What you doing, mister? What you?
I'm trying to get this dad-ratted car started, if you must know. We're going to a football game.
Oh.
Dad-rat's a dad.
Well, gee, don't get upset about it, mister. Remember what Mr. Schaffner said to Mr. Mark.
Well, what did Mr. Shatner say to Mr. Mark?
He said, let's not take this to heart.
Oh. Now, look, Sissy, and I got trouble enough without you coming along.
You sure got a lot of people in your car, mister. How can it hold so many pedestrians?
You mean passengers. Pedestrians are people who walk.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Now, you keep quiet, sis. My impatience is just about exhausted. Hey, any of you fellas like to get out and give me a little push?
They look like they'd all like to give you a push, mister, right off a tall building.
Ungrateful mugs. Here I use my car to take them away off to the football game, and what do I get?
Hey, mister.
Sis, if you don't quit bothering me...
Good looking, mister.
Doggone it, sis. How can I get this car started if I have to sit here and listen to your childish gabble?
Much easier, I bet.
Well, Huh?
If you listen to me, you can start it much easier.
What do you mean, sis?
Well, gee, looky now.
Huh?
Excuse me for leaning in front of you like this. Now try it, mister.
Oh, shucks, sis. You can't... Hey! Hey, it's going. Hey, what'd you do?
I just turned on the ignition.
Well, much obliged, sis.
Oh, that's okay, mister. We all make mistakes. But gee whiz, I never saw so many people making the same mistake at once. So long, mister.
keeping an eye out for motor cops?
Certainly am, fruit fly, certainly am. As a further precaution, I am sprinkling tacks on the road as we go along.
Oh, how utterly thoughtful of you, Mr. Boomer, to bring tacks with you.
I didn't bring them, fat, 40, and unfair to Union Beauty Parlor. I'm picking them out of the upholstery.
Hey.
But I'm afraid it's no use.
Why, Mr. Boomer?
The gentleman you were expecting is here now.
All right, pull over to the side.
Shall I chip him off a few pieces of the old Blarney Stone, McGee?
No, I'll handle it. Now, look, officer, we may have been going a little too fast, but we're on our way to the Notre Dame Army football game. And I think it's everybody's duty to support the Army these days, don't you? Because with the situation the way...
Oh, keep quiet.
Huh?
You were only going 22 miles an hour.
What? Go on, we haven't been out an hour yet.
I'm not arresting you for speeding.
Huh? You ain't?
No, I just, there was a girl in the back seat of this car who was waving her handkerchief at me, and well, this is a pretty lonesome job, and
Oh, officer, you look so noble and handsome sitting there on your motorcycle, and I simply couldn't resist the temptation. It was I who waved.
Oh, was it? Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to have stopped you folks. You know how it is. These dark goggles of mine, they make everything kind of funny.
Well, take the goggles off, Bud, and see how funny the old moose really
McGee.
looks.
Well, now the talk's been cleared up, my young haunter of the highways. Let us be on our way. Let us not dally, Jilly.
Hey, just a minute, you. What's your name?
Why, officer, that's Mr. Horatio.
Ixnay, I can cray, Ollie May. You were inquiring about me, my friend? Why, I'm the Honorable Sidney Green, the well-known wholesale grocer. You must have heard of Sidney Green's kidney beans. Yes, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Green, but you look like a man we want. You got any identification with you?
Oh, certainly. Never traveled without them. Let me see now. Well, I put those identification papers. Had them right here a moment ago.
Well, hurry up, Mr. Green, please.
Don't get your puttees in a panic, Saddlebound. My paper's right here. Let me see now. Here's a small collapsible bucket I got in a small bucket shop that collapsed. Memo from Freddie the Firebug. Ambitious fellow, planning on giving a big shoe factory the hot foot. What's this? Ah, yes. A small ditty bag for people who can't carry a tune any other way. Here's a pivot tube. Very handy if you want to turn the other cheek. An army blanket with no draft ventilation. A check for short draft beer. Well, imagine that. Here are my identification papers.
Well, everything seems to be in order, Mr. Green. Sorry to have bothered you.
Didn't bother me a bit, my young handlebar Hawkshaw, not a bit. Drop in my grocery store sometime, and I'll see that you get a nice, ripe tomato.
Gee, thanks, Mr. Green. Well, so long, everybody.
Don't ride too fast now. Hey, Boomer, that's a pretty smart piece of work. How'd you do it?
Elementary, fiddleface, elementary.
Huh?
This happens to be Mr. Sidney Green's coat I'm wearing.
Oh.
Picked it up by mistake in a restaurant last night.
Well, maybe you weren't scared, Boomer, but I never seen a guy turn green so fast. Don't you get it, Molly? I said...
Tain't funny, McGee.
Okay, well, I'm getting hungry.
Well, Mr. McGee, why wouldn't this be a good place to eat our lunch?
How about it, Molly? Personally, I'm just about furnished, really.
You mean famished?
I thought famished meant well-known.
No, that's famous or notorious.
No, a notorious is a man who stamps things on a paper for 2 bits. Sure, my oldest boy's Demetrios. He's a notorious.
That's notary, Mr. DePopoulos.
I thought notary is meaning to go around and around.
That's Rotary, like a Rotary Club. They go around to different places for lunch.
Dad, that's just what I've been trying to say, ain't it? This is the place for lunch.
Okay.
Well, now that we've got that settled, I hope, let's see. Mr. Gildersleeve, will you take the picnic basket over by that big tree?
Oh, yeah.
And Mr. Wilcox, Mr. Wilcox?
Oh, speaking to me, Molly?
Yes, what are you doing? Studying bird life?
No, I was just looking up at that beautiful maple tree. Isn't it a lovely thing?
I don't know what you're getting so wide-eyed about, Harlow. Only a wheat cake could get sappy about a maple.
But think what this tree has to look forward to.
I'm sorry, folks, but we got to pay for this wonderful entertainment some way, you know. Well, Wilcox, what has this tree got to look forward to?
What a question, Fibber, what a question. Why, think of that noble tree doing its darndest to grow up and get cut down so it can be made into floors and furniture to be Johnson waxed and live happily ever after.
Oh.
Knowing in its every little knot and grain that it's protected against dirt and wear and hard usage. That it will be so easy to clean, that every pore will be sealed against dust and dampness. Why, with Johnson's wax?
Oh, Woodman, spare that tremendous buildup.
Oh.
Wow.
Yes, that's one of the most lumbering commercials I ever heard, Mr. Wilcox. Now, come on and eat lunch,
Yeah.
both of you. Get the thermos bottle and... Say, where's the old-timer?
Huh? What? Hey, he's still in that luggage compartment.
Oh, I hope he hasn't smothered. Open it up quick, dearie. Well, heavenly day.
Hey, old-timer. Wake up, old-timer. It's time for lunch.
Hey, what's he? Oh, that ain't the way I heard it. The way I heard it, one feller says to t'other feller, hey, what's that I smell, daughter? Hot coffee?
Yes, it is, so hurry up. We're going to eat lunch.
Okay, daughter, I'll hurry. One feller says to t'other feller, say, he says, see when there's an epidemic of children's quiz programs. Yep, says t'other feller, it's getting so the old time a kid has to stand in the corner, one can't get a sponsor.
The King's Men singing McNamara's Band.
Oh, we work for McNamara, he's the leader of the band. Although we're few in numbers, we're the finest in the land. We play at wakes and weddings and at every fancy ball. But for our own amazement, we can play the best of all. Oh, the drums go banging, the cymbals clanging, the trumpets they blaze away.
McCarthy pumps the old bassoon while all the pipers play.
Tennessee toodles the flute and the music is simply grand. Proud we are to be a part of McNamara's band. Finnegan, Flanagan play the saxophone. They play so very pretty that the girls won't leave them alone. Oh, Donald O'Connell, O'Hannigan, Carrigan on the trumpets play. We had to build a fence around to keep the girls away. Oh, the saxophones and the slide trombones can hypnotize the crowd.
The papers say the way we play is certainly good and loud.
Donovan Sullivan tweeters the pipe and the music is simply grand. Everybody's awful proud of McNamara's band.
Dear Janssen,
Ferguson, Jorgensen come from old Norway to play with McNamara's band. We traveled all the way. Would then we marched the street along, we get a jolly hand.
We're Janssen,
Ferguson, Jorgensen with an Irish band. Oh, we got a bunch of shamrock and our uniform is green. We're the funniest looking speeds that ever you have seen. There's O'Briens and Ryans and Sheehan's and me, and they come from Ireland. By Yemeni, we're the only speeds in McNamara's band. Oh, the drums go banging, the cymbals clanging, the trumpets they blaze away. Everybody dances when the band begins to play. Tennessee toodles the flute and the music is simply grand. Proud we are to be a part of McNamara's band.
Hey, you know, Molly, I'm worried about the way this car's running.
Why, it's running beautifully, dearie.
That's what worries me. It never run beautiful before. Now, how are you folks doing in the back seat back there?
Personally, I've never been so uncomfortable in my life.
Well, I should think you would be, with your leg twisted up back of your neck like that.
That isn't his leg, that's mine. I had to put it someplace.
Well, Billy Mills looks happy and contented anyway. Look at him, sleeping like a boy.
He is not sleeping, Mr. McGee.
Huh?
He's unconscious.
What?
Yes?
Yes. When we went around that sharp curve about 20 miles back, Mr. Depopoulos knocked him out with his elbow.
Yes, the lucky dog. Come on, Depopoulos, don't be selfish. Knock me out, too.
Nothing doing, Golden Sleeve. Look what it did to my elbow.
Please, Mr. Depopoulos, that's my elbow.
Oh, pardon me very much.
You see, McGee?
Huh?
We're so crowded back here, we have to look ourselves up in who's who before we dare cross our legs.
Don't be silly, Mr. Gildersleeve. I think you all look nice and cozy back there. All snuggled up together. I almost envy you. Almost.
Yes, I'll bet you do.
Gildersleeve, if I wasn't such a gracious host, I'd tell you to zipper your lip. Trouble with you is you ate too much lunch. You not only ate too much, you ate too fast.
Now, look here, McGee. I won't have you criticizing my etiquette, you little ignoramus.
Who's an ignoramus?
Not me. I'm a Greek Orthodox.
Quiet, Depopoulos. McGee, one of these days you and I are going to tangle. You know that, don't you?
Gildersleeve, that's a thought that will sustain me through the long winter nights.
That's probably where you'll be during the long winter nights, too.
Huh?
Back on sustaining.
Oh, yeah? Well, don't worry your curly little head about that. You know what I mean to our sponsors?
Yes, I do.
What?
You're a hired man, McGee.
Come now, boys. This is no way to act when we're on our way to a nice football game.
Yeah, step on it, Fibber. I don't want to miss the kickoff.
Well, me either. I want to get there in time to see Pat O'Brien put on his makeup. Always like to give the coach a little advice.
Advice? What do you know about football?
Who, me? You seem to forget, Golden Sleeve, that in 1912, I was the All-American end to end all All-American ends. Why, when I was on the offensive...
Oh, were you offensive?
Huh? Oh. Well, furthermore, in two wit, when it came to blocking, I was always right ahead of the ball carrier. Blockhead McGee, I was known as in them days. Blockhead McGee, the boldest and bravest back that ever bounded from the bench to bring back the bacon by booting the ball over the brim of the bowl. The best boy in the business at blasting the boulevard through big bunches of bewildered baboons by banging and bending betwixt and between them like a bird in the brush. Banqueted and barbecued as the brilliant bozo who baffled befuddled bevies of beefy blacksmiths because blubber and brag can't beat brain and brawn, bud. Billed as the Beau Brummel who bops balloons to the balmy breezes with a bang of the bunion. Battered and bruised when I went to bed, but hang on there, folks, there's a red light ahead.
Well, we're almost there. Now all we have to do is go across town to the stadium.
You can let me out anywhere. I'll take a cab, McGee.
Oh, no, you don't, Gildersleeve. No fair breaking up the party.
Why, I should say not.
You know how to get to the stadium, Fibber?
Oh, I ain't very familiar here in South Bend. I better ask this cop. Hey, officer.
Yes, what is it?
Well, I tell you, officer, we're going to the Notre Dame Army football game. Can you tell us how to get there, sir?
Why, sure, McCushla. Turn right at the next red light and take Route 66 east about 900 miles.
900 miles east? Ain't this South Bend, Indiana?
Sure, but they're playing that game at West Point.
Hey, let go of me, Gildersleeve! Moore, lay off of me! I didn't realize. Hey, quick! Hey!
Few products have been received with more universal satisfaction than Johnson's self-polishing glow coat, the floor polish that's saving so many hours of work every day for housewives everywhere. The reason for this satisfaction is the service glow coat gives, how easy it is to use, how beautiful it makes floors of all kinds, especially linoleum, how economical it is to use, and how it saves its cost many times over by making linoleum last so much longer. Glow coat is called self-polishing because it really does polish itself. It shines while it dries, needs no rubbing or buffing at all. You simply apply glow coat with a cloth or long-handled glow coat applier, then go on about your other work. In 20 minutes, come back to find your floor gleaming with a hard, beautiful polish. Still, things are quickly wiped up with a damp cloth. And that's the glow coat story. which you can easily verify by trying it yourself on your own floors. Ask your dealer for Johnson's self-polishing glow coat.
Folks, next Tuesday, November 5th, is Election Day all over the USA, and we hope you'll all get out and vote.
That's right. Vote any way you like, but vote.
And let's be thankful we all live in a country where you're just told where to vote and not how. Good night.
Good night, all.
This is Harlow Wilcox, speaking for the makers of Johnson's Wax and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat, inviting you to be with us again next Tuesday night. Good night.
Is your car ready for winter? Besides servicing it for cold weather, don't forget to clean and wax polish it with Johnson's Car New. Both of these jobs are now comparatively easy to do because Car New both cleans and wax polishes at the same time in less than half the time they used to take. Whether your car is old or new, you and your family will enjoy it more when it's had a Car New beauty treatment. Buy a can of Car New from your regular wax dealer, auto supply store, or service station. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
The Johnson Wax Program. The makers of Johnson's Wax and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coats present Fibber McGee and Molly, written by Don Quinn, with music by the King's Men and Billy Mills and his orchestra.
Ladies and gentlemen, realizing the tremendous interest you all have in the election returns tonight, NBC has arranged to bring you the latest results at intervals during our program.
And now Billy Mills and his orchestra open the show with So You're the One. When you walk on wax, you save your floors. You've heard me say this before, but I like to repeat it because it illustrates so clearly the protection offered by genuine Johnson's Wax. The reason why this famous floor wax saves work and saves money throughout the year. When you apply a coat of Johnson's Wax to your floors, you're protecting them with a tough, invisible wax shield. A shield that guards the finish against scratches, scars, and dirt. Of course, that's only half the Johnson Wax story, because floors that are regularly Johnson Wax become more beautiful with every application. They have that rich, mellow glow so much desired by better housekeepers. Add to this the 100 extra uses for genuine Johnson's Wax, for furniture, woodwork, leather goods, and you understand why it is in so many homes everywhere. You can buy genuine Johnson's Wax in the familiar paste or liquid form, and in the new cream wax, especially formulated for furniture and woodwork. Buy some tomorrow. Well, the Good Government Club of Wistful Vista has offered $250 to the election officials who bring out the voters in their precincts 100%. And here, presiding at the polling place, which also happens to be their home at 79 Wistful Vista, we find those two eager officials, Fibber McGee and Molly.
Well, now remember, McGee.
What?
As long as we're election officials, we've got to be absolutely nonpartisan.
Okay, but who are we going to be nonpartisan against?
Excuse me, please, President Cupid. I'd like to vote.
Why, hello, Mr. DePopulis.
Your name, please, Nick.
Nicholas Agassiz Prometheus G. DePopulis.
Oh. What's the G stand for?
Junior.
Then you got the same name as your old man.
Oh, no. Papa's name is being Nicholas Agathakis Prometheus Seed, be properly.
Oh, what's the C for?
Senior.
Okay, let it go. Here's your ballot, Nick. Mark it in the other room, then fold it and put it in this little box right here.
Ugly duckly, Tinker. But if I'd only known it was this much trouble to elect the President of the United States, it's certainly worth it, isn't it?
Imagine giving a dumbbell like him the vote, Molly.
Well, the first time you voted, you weren't so smart either, dearie.
Why, what did I do?
You took a ruler and a pair of scissors with you.
What?
You said as long as you were going to split your ticket, you wanted it to look neat.
That was before I knew how... I'll get it.
Okay.
Hello? Yes. 13th Precinct, polling place. Judge McGee speaking. No, we ain't allowed to give out any information. No, we don't know how the voting is going for any candidate. No. Oh, well, you'll just have to wait for the morning press, I guess. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Gallup.
Was that George Gallup?
No, Charlie, a fellow I used to know in the circus.
Oh.
He used to play the cantaloupe in the parade.
No, you don't mean cantaloupe. You mean he played the calamity.
Molly, a calamity is something bad.
Well, I never heard one played good.
One what?
One of those steam pianos, those antelopes.
That rat if they ain't antelopes. Antelopes are kind of dear.
I don't care how much they cost. I don't like it. And for your information, dearie, a cantaloupe is a mushmelon.
Of course it's a mushmelon. I know that.
Well, how could anyone play a mushmelon in a circus?
Charlie did. He bored holes into it and played it like a sweet potato. It was a little drippy, but it had rhythm. Never forget one time we played Mishawaka, Indiana, and Charlie couldn't find a cantaloupe for love nor money. Had to use a persimmon. Yeah, he played the parade all right, but his face was so puckered up he couldn't get near nobody for 3 weeks. Everybody thought he was going to kiss them. Well, so the following week we were...
Huh? You know what you can get me for Christmas?
No, what?
A big, beautifully colored, handsomely framed Rand McNally map of that dream world you live in. Now, let's get back to work, dear.
Okay. How many more votes do we need to get 100% turnout?
About 22.
22?
Yeah.
Hey, that's pretty good. Only 22 more, huh? Well, looks like we might win that $250, Molly. Gee, wouldn't that be great?
Mm-hmm.
Wonder how the election's coming on in other parts of the country.
Well, search me.
Shall I turn on the radio?
Well, I was going to turn it on myself, and then I got worried.
What was you worried about?
Well, that radio of ours is so old, I was afraid we'd get returns from the Coolidge campaign.
Well, let's try it. I'll get the NBC newsroom in New York. Quiet in the polling place, please. We're going to get some election returns.
Here are the last-minute election returns. Roosevelt has taken an early lead in the presidential election on the basis of incomplete returns which have now come in from the South, the East, and a part of the Midwest. The NBC Election Totalizer Board here in New York now shows these figures. Roosevelt, 2,605,000. Wilkie, 2,037,000. This represents approximately 9% of the total vote cast today. Roosevelt is holding a narrow lead in the important states of Ohio, Indiana, Pennsylvania, and Illinois, and also in Connecticut. Returns from New York, which represents 47 electoral votes, are just beginning to come in. And here are bulletins from various states as they're coming into the NBC newsroom. New York, the first election district reporting tonight of 804 in Bronx County, home of Democratic National Chairman Edward Flynn. Tonight gave Wilkie 420 to 400 for Roosevelt. Rome, New York. Roosevelt defeated Wilkie 7,345 to 6,563 in the city of Rome in an unofficial tabulation of votes in the first upstate city reported, complete in today's election. Cleveland, Ohio. The Cleveland Plain dealer which supported Wendell Wilkie predicted tonight that President Roosevelt would carry Ohio by 150,000 votes. here is a bullet. Washington at 9:30 p.m. With returns far from complete, Roosevelt was leading in states having a total electoral vote of 277, as follows: Alabama, Arkansas, Connecticut, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Massachusetts, Mississippi, North Dakota, New Hampshire, New Mexico, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Virginia, and West Virginia. Wilkie was leading in states with an aggregate electoral vote of 179, as follows: Arizona, Colorado, Delaware, Kansas, Maine, Michigan, Missouri, Nebraska, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Rhode Island, South Dakota, Vermont, Wisconsin. Keep tuned in to this station for further election returns. Miss Buck?
Now we return you to Fibber McGee and Molly as Billy Mills and his orchestra play Bojangles of Holland.
How does it look, Molly? We going to turn in 100% vote in this precinct?
I believe we are, McGee. Oh, there's only a few more.
Hey, Mr. McGee, how old you got to be to vote?
21, Flanagan.
Gee, that's great. I'll bring my son over right away.
But, Mr. Flanagan, I thought your son was only 16.
He is, but he's heard so many campaign speeches, he's aged 5 years.
It's wonderful what radio has done for politics, isn't it, dear?
Yeah, it is. Used to be a speaker had to get up on a stump to talk. Now they stand in front of a mic and get themselves out on a limb.
How do you do, Mr. McGee? And Mr. McGee. Does one do one's voting in here?
Yes, one does, Mrs. Uppington. Will one step up to the desk, please?
Raise your right hand, Uppy.
Oh, must I be sworn in?
No, but that dress is so tight, I just wondered if you could do it. Okay, let it down. Now then, a few questions, Uppy, please. Your name?
Uppington. Mrs. Abigail Uppington.
Resident?
Stucco.
Go on, your house is brick.
I thought so, too, until I paid for it.
Huh?
Then I realized I got stucco. Ooh, how I got stucco. Ooh, nice.
That's a very old joke, Mrs. Uppington.
It's a very old house.
Uppy, you're hotter than a short-order kitchen tonight, you know what? You ought to save that material. Indefinitely.
I intend to, Mr. McGee. You know, I expect to write someday.
Oh, and you'll love it, too, Uppy. I remember when I learned to write. The teacher...
Enough of this. My ballot, please.
Just a moment, Mrs. Uppington. Your age, please.
This is just say over 21.
Oh, now, Uppy, not you.
Yes, really I am, Mr. McGee.
Don't say I did that.
No, I realize I have the face of a young girl.
Well, you'd better give it back to her. You're getting it all wrinkled.
Well, really now, My ballot, please, and where do I vote?
Oh, here you are, Uppy, and just go through that door there, Uppy. You'll find the...
No, not that door. No.
Hey, Molly.
Yeah?
After election, remind me to straighten out that closet.
Did you see Mrs. Uppington get out of there? Lovely footwork.
Yeah, she's a little lightweight still.
Hey, what on earth is that? Look, somebody's making a speech out there.
Why, he can't do that. He's electioneering within 100 feet of a polling place. I'll put a stop to that. Come on, Molly.
Hey, my friends, the Johnson self-polishing Glowcoat, the people's choice, should be elected to office. And not only to the office, but to the home. Because it saves hours of housework and is so easy to use. Glowcoat requires no rubbing and no buffing. And gives new luster and beauty to your kitchen linoleum. That is why I say, vote for Johnson's self-polishing Glowcoat, regardless of party. And if you must have a party, be sure and use Glowcoat, because all good parties wind up in the kitchen.
I think I'm going to start carrying smelling salts with me, Molly.
What for?
Someday Wilcox is going to forget that tricky stuff and simply say, folks, now I'm going to talk about Johnson's Glowcoat. And when he does that, I'll think.
Never mind that, McGee. If we want to win that prize, we better get some of these voters in here.
Yeah.
Why don't you call some of them up?
Hey, that's a great idea, Molly. Give me the phone, thanks. Thanks. Hello, operator. Give me the rest. Oh, is that you, Mert? How's every little thing, Mert? It is, huh? Who? Your sister. Chopped off her what?
Oh, heavenly days, McGee. What happened?
Mert's sister was singing the old Oaken Bucket at the radio station, and they chopped off 8 bars off her chorus. What say, Mert? Oh, our line is out of order, huh? Okay, Mert. Thanks anyway. Can you imagine that?
Well, there's still time for the rest of the vote.
Hello, Johnny. Hello, daughter. Give me a ballot.
Well, okay, old-timer, here you are. A few questions first, though. Here's where we find out how old this fellow, what his really name is, Molly.
Yes. Name, please.
Okay, old-timer, come on. What's your name?
Wouldn't Tame ask me again, I'll tell you the same.
For goodness sake, don't be so sorry, Mr. Oldtimer. If you don't answer the questions, you can't vote, you know.
Oh, but darn it, daughter. Why have I got to give you all this information?
To make your vote legal, old-timer.
How do you know what's legal, Johnny?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I've been in politics since I was knee-high to a ward heeler, old-timer. Committeeman, alderman, mayor. Why, when I was prosecuting attorney, lawyers from all over the country used to say my pleas to the jury were the prettiest they ever heard. Pretty Please McGee, I was known as. Pretty Please McGee, proclaimed by press and public the peerless prosecutor of pilfering pickpockets, political parasites, and perfidious persons performing petty peccadillos, putting prison pajamas on poker players preying on poor punks with peculiar pasteboards and purloined property with prestidigitation, pleading with passion and pathos for poor people in pretty pickles, a peppy personality with a capital P, but here's more returns from NBC.
Incomplete election returns are now available from 40 of the 48 states. And on a basis of these incomplete returns, President Roosevelt is leading Wendell Willkie in both the popular and the indicated electoral vote. States having 277 electoral votes are leaning toward Roosevelt. Willkie is holding a lead in states with an aggregate electoral vote of 179. The NBC election chart now shows 2,820,909 for Roosevelt, 2,229,322 for Willkie, with 10% of the total returns in. These are accurate figures based on news services. Manchester, New Hampshire. A neck-and-neck battle for New Hampshire's 4 electoral votes developed tonight as early returns trickled in from scattered communities in the Granite State, which 4 years ago staged the tightest finish in the nation in that presidential race. Returns from 53 of the state's 294 precincts gave President Roosevelt 9,564 votes to 9,312 for Wendell Willkie. Pittsburgh. President Roosevelt held an unofficial lead of 35,968 votes in Pennsylvania tonight, with 332 of the state's 8,100 precincts reporting. The vote: Roosevelt 149,460, Willkie 113,492. New York. The first 5 election districts to report from New York County tonight gave Roosevelt 2,080, Willkie 441. Albany, New York. 9 districts out of 212 in Albany County give Roosevelt 3,141, Willkie 975. Minneapolis. Wendell L. Willkie led President Roosevelt in the first returns from Minnesota. The Republican nominee getting 250 votes to Mr. Roosevelt's 170 in 1 precinct out of 3,696. Des Moines, Iowa. The first 3 precincts to report in Iowa in the presidential race gave Wendell Willkie 1,102 votes to 762 for President Roosevelt. The returns were from Grundy County, which had a Democratic majority in 1936. Keep tuned to this station.
Now we return you to Fibber, McGee, and Malley as the King's Men sing You Can't Tell a Man by His Hat.
Oh, once upon a time before the world had gone informal, things were normal and a girl could figure out by a man's fedora or his top hat or his Panama exactly what that man was all about.
Bankers were conservative in black or brown or blue or gray.
Actors were extravagant in green
or something distingué.
You could always recognize a carry straight from poolroom guys, but now just look what's happened to the scene. Low brows and high hats and high brows and no hats. So what is this world coming to? Zulus in earlaps and crooks in police caps. The day of discretion is through.
There was a time when you could tell a cowboy by his 10-gallon lid.
But every dude has got a headpiece now, boy, just like Billy the Kid. Now meanies wear beanies and Bing wears an old thing like something dragged in by the cat.
That distinguished beaver may be Jolson's mammy, or next year's version of Uncle Sammy.
You can't tell a man by his hat. Escorts and sailors and people in trailers are all wearing toppers and spats.
That man in the pink beret may be none other than Wallace Beery or Whistler's mother.
You can't tell a man by his hat. Can't tell a man, can't tell a man, can't tell a man by the style of his hat.
Well, okay there, Bud. Just fold your ballot and slip it into the ballot box there. That's all.
You mean this great big box right here, Mr. McGee?
Now, that's the one.
Thank you, sir.
You too, madam.
Oh, I'm so thrilled, really.
Huh?
This is the first time I ever voted, and I'm such an admirer of the man I voted for. I put some extra X's on the bottom of my ballot. Kisses, you know.
Well, looks like we're going to win that prize, Molly. 3 more people come in to vote, and we can close the book. We've had that.
Oh, there. Good day, my dear, and good day to you, big face. Give me a ballot, please.
Okay, here you are, Boomer.
And be careful how you mark it.
Yeah.
Certainly will, my dear. Can't betray the confidence of the people who bought my vote. Now, let's see. Where I put those instructions. Instructions. Had them here just a moment ago. Here's a deck of marked cards. Going to play a little rummy tonight, if he shows up. Letter from my dear old father from Vinegar, South Dakota. Says he takes his morning constitutional by walking 50 times around the jail. Yes. Round and round the vinegar jug pop goes. The weasel. Oh, yes, a couple of badly made counterfeit silver dollars. Caused me a great deal of embarrassment. Got a letter from the government telling me I'd have to get the lead out. And a check for short beer. Well, imagine that. No instructions.
Well, Well, you'll just have to mark your ballot without them, Mr. Boomer. Right in the other room there.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you. Hope there's no objection to my voting twice in each square. Never could resist a chance for a double cross.
That guy's been on so many police blotters, he writes his name backward.
Well, I'm glad he came in to vote anyway. Only 2 more and we've won $250.
Only 2 more, Molly.
I'll bet we're the only precinct in the United States that voted 100%.
I lived in one once that voted 425%. It was a wet neighborhood, and we had a bunch of floaters.
Oh, hi, McGee. Hello, Mrs. McGee.
Hello, Mr. Gildersleeve. Come right in.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Gildersleeve. Glad to see you. What'd you come in here for?
To vote.
Fine. Here's a ballot.
Here's a pencil.
Just take it in the next room.
Now, wait a minute. Don't rush me.
Well, shucks, Gildy, you got to vote.
Who says I got to vote? I'm an American citizen, McGee.
Huh?
Nobody can make me vote.
Well, then what'd you come in here for?
To vote.
Good.
Here's a ballot.
Oh, no, you don't. You can't rush me into this.
Rush you into this. Now, look, Gildy, as one American to another, I appeal to your patriotism. I appeal to your...
Don't you wave the flag at me either, McGee. My forefathers were in this country long before yours.
Oh, is that so?
Yes, it is. My mother had 12 sisters in the DAR.
Well, I knew you had aunts, Gildersleeve, but I didn't know what they were in.
You're a hard man, McGee. Just for that, I won't vote.
Oh, dear. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, Mr. Gildersleeve, not voting.
Well.
Why, your wife was the first one in when we opened up this morning.
Yeah.
What? She was?
Yeah.
You bet she was.
Why, she's voting for a different candidate than I am.
Huh?
She can't do this to me. Give me a ballot.
Here.
Give me a pencil.
Here.
President of the X, Congressman X, Judge Municipal X.
Here. Take it in the other room and mark
It's all marked in the box. I'll show Madam Gildersleeve. Well, many happy returns, folks.
Many happy returns. Of all the corny...
Oh, heavenly days, McGee. Look.
Huh?
Look what time it is. We have to close the polls in exactly 2 minutes.
Oh, but we can't. There's still one voter that ain't come in.
Nevertheless, we'll have to close. We've got to keep it legal, you know.
Oh, but he can't do that to us. He's cheating us out of $250. Oh, come on, Bud. Whoever you are. That ratted luck. If he don't show up within 2 minutes, we're...
Say.
Good evening to the both of you.
And a very good evening to you, sir. Hurry, McGee.
Here you are, Bud. We'll just skip the questions. You only got a minute to make out your ballot.
Me what?
Your ballot. Don't stand there and argue. Hurry up. The voting booth is in the other room. We'll check your registration afterwards.
I'm not here to vote, McCusker.
Huh?
I'm from the City Hall. Come to take your ballot box.
Oh, dear.
The polls are closed. Good night to you.
Well, I didn't want a new green automobile with red upholstery and the top goes up and down when you press the button anyway. Oh, McGee, darling, don't take it to heart so.
I can't help it, Molly.
Oh, now, just because some stupid, short-sighted, irresponsible, un-American rapscallion forgot to vote.
Please, Molly, don't talk like that. He ain't really a bad guy.
What? You know who it was?
Yes.
Who?
Me.
There are a lot of us who have a small talent for one thing or another, painting or music or even amateur theatricals. We might occasionally do something that seems brilliant, but the next effort might be very ordinary. And that marks the main difference between talent and genius. For with the artist who has genius, every effort is brilliant and surefire. It's that way in business, too. Some products are here today, gone tomorrow, whereas others are so consistent in quality and service that they become accepted as household standards. The many products of S.C. Johnson & Son Incorporated, makers of Johnson's Wax, are surely in this category. For more than 50 years, they have been giving unfailing satisfaction. When you think of polishes, think of genuine Johnson's Wax in the familiar paste or liquid form for floors, and the new cream wax for furniture, or Johnson's self-polishing Glow Coat for linoleum, Johnson's Shine Up Silver Polish, and Johnson's Car New for your car.
Let's go to the Bijou Theater, McGee.
Huh?
They're giving election returns during the show.
Oh, just like us, huh?
Exactly. That's why I wanted to go.
What you mean? What's there?
Election returns and no time for comedy.
Oh. Good night.
Good night, all.
This is Harlow Wilcox, speaking for the makers of Johnson's Wax and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat, inviting you to be with us again next Tuesday night. Good night.
Attention car owners. What product does two things at once? It's Johnson's Car New, the sensational new auto polish that both cleans and wax polishes your car in one easy operation. It used to take hard work and cost real money to do those two jobs, but with Car New, you can do them in half the time. Car New is a liquid that dries to a white powder. Wipe this powder off, and you'll say with car owners everywhere, your car looks like new when you use Car New. Buy a can tomorrow. Get your car ready for winter. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
The Johnson Wax Program. The makers of Johnson's Wax and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat present Fibber, McGee, and Molly, written by Don Quinn, with music by the King's Men and Billy Mills Orchestra. The show opens with You and Your Kiss. No matter how many other labor savers you may have in your home, don't fail to take advantage of Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat. The no-rubbing floor polish that saves hours of work, that keeps the colors of linoleum fresh and bright, and does away with tiresome and expensive floor scrubbing. Why is floor scrubbing expensive? Because it ruins linoleum surfaces, as any linoleum manufacturer will tell you. If you want your linoleum to last a long time, protect it with Johnson's Glow Coat. You can use Glow Coat on varnished or painted wood floors, too. It needs no rubbing or buffing, whatever. You simply apply and let dry. In 20 minutes, your floor has a beautiful, lasting polish, easy to keep clean and spotless. If you're not a regular user of Johnson's Glow Coat, try some right away. Well, Fibber's had a very busy day. He's discussed the election at Joe's Tavern, done a little sidewalk supervising of a building excavation, and forwarded the youth movement by kibitzing for 2 hours at a corner lot football game. And here, approaching the house with a glow of satisfaction and a day well spent, we find Fibber, our Fibber, McGee, and Molly.
Oh, that little goat in his name was Lincoln. Never got drunk, but he sure got hungry. Hey, Molly, I'm home. Hey, Molly, it's Fibber, the guy you married on account of his smooth talk and city ways. Molly, must have gone to the store. I wonder if she wouldn't leave a light burning for a guy so... Oh! Oh! Oh, my eye. Oh, that's right, that door. Oh. Oh.
Happy bake a cherry pie, Billy boy, Billy.
Who's in here?
Oh, it's me, Molly. Oh.
Well, what on earth are you doing here in the dark? Why don't you turn the light on? There, that's better. Now we can... Well, what on earth's the matter with you or I?
I bumped into the door. Well, I did, just now. Oh, Molly. Molly, you don't believe me?
Why, of course I believe you. Whoever got a black eye any other way? They always bumped into a door.
Now sit down there and let Mother put something on it.
Oh, but look, Molly, let's get this straight. I really did bump into the door. You see,
Now, please, McGee. In the first place, it's none of my business how you got the shiner. In the second place, when a man spends the day downtown a week after election and discusses politics and comes home with a black eye, it's pretty obvious that...
Now, listen, Molly, I tell you that
Never mind, dearie. It doesn't matter how you got it. Let's put something on it. Doesn't hurt.
Oh, no, it feels wonderful. I love it. Think I'll make a hobby of getting black eyes.
Now, don't be sarcastic, dearie. Tell me one thing.
Huh?
What does Mr. Gildersleeve look like?
Gildersleeve didn't have anything to do with it.
Well, who did? Tell me his name and I'll settle.
Dad, I can't tell you his name.
Oh, it was a stranger, huh?
Yes. No, it wasn't anybody. I done it myself.
I see. You did it yourself.
Yes.
I suppose you got to talking to yourself and said something you resented and hit yourself in the eye, huh?
I bumped into the door.
Well, I'm sorry you can't confide in your own wife, dearie. But let it go. I'll boil some tea. I read in a book that tea leaves are good for black eyes.
I read in a book about Aladdin and his wonderful lamp, too. But I don't want to rub this one and have a genius pop up from nowhere.
That was a genie.
It was not. Jeannie was the gal with the light brown hair.
Well, what's he have to do with Aladdin?
How should I know? Where Jeannie spends her Arabian Nights is her own business.
Well, what's the difference? They were only fractional characters anyway.
You mean frictional?
I don't either. Frictional is when you rub something on something.
That's what I've been trying to say. We got to rub something on this eye. That's rather done it.
Hello there, daughter. Got your Thanksgiving turkey yet? I'm selling tickets on a raffle that... Well, hello there, Johnny. Who is the rat that give you the mouth?
Nobody gave it to me, old-timer. I bumped into a door in the dark.
You did, eh?
Yes, I did.
That's pretty good, Johnny. But that ain't the way I heard it. The way I heard it, one feller says to t'other feller, hey, says, did you see Fibber McGee's shiner? No, says t'other feller, but it's a cute switch, ain't it? What you mean, says the first feller. Well, says t'other feller, I mean having the program give him a black eye. Well, it sure is a beaut, Johnny. Don't blame it for being all puffed up.
That old mossback. Does this eye really look that bad, Molly?
It's getting so dark the pupil looks like it was going to night school. I think you better see the doctor, dearie.
Maybe I had better go see the doctor. Oh, come on, go with me. You got your purse?
Yes, I've got it. Come on, let's go.
Okay.
Shall we walk?
Yeah, let's go through the alley and around by Cranley's.
Hi, mister.
Oh, hello there, little girl. Sorry, I can't talk to you now. We're on our way to the doctor.
Well, gee, I just want to... Oh. Criminy, what a shiner. Who put the dimmer on your headlight, mister?
I run into the door in the dark, if you must know.
Oh, sure. A likely story, I bet you. And what does the other fellow look like?
Now, look here, sis. I ain't got time to masticate the muslin with you.
Well, gee, mister, I just wanted to ask you if you wanted to invest in a going business.
I ain't interested, sis. What's the business?
Well, there's a PTA meeting next door, and I'm running a baby buggy parking lot. I and Willie Toops.
You mean Willie Toops and I?
Oh, trying to muscle in, huh?
No, I ain't. But how's business?
Well, we've taken care of 7 babies already. At a cent apiece.
Oh, so you made 7 cents, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, as the fellow says when he's seen the well-dressed weatherman, that's a very neat profit.
Oh, no. We got a deficit.
Oh, yeah.
10 cents for medical expenses.
Medical expense?
Mm-hmm.
You mean you had to slip one of the tiny tots a pony of paregoric?
No, but Willie had to buy some iodine for his knee, I bet you.
For his knee?
Mm-hmm. He fell down when one of the mothers chased him.
Now, wait a minute, sis. This started out as a financial report, but it's developing kind of clinical. What'd she chase him for?
Well, gee, mister, her baby kept crying and crying, and we couldn't make it stop, so we emptied the milk out of its bottle and refilled it.
With fresh milk?
No.
Huh?
Hmm?
If you didn't refill it with milk, what did you refill it with?
Beer.
Beer? Hey, wait. Oh, you shouldn't have done that, sis.
Oh, sure.
Huh?
Sure. My papa says if he drinks a bottle of beer before he goes to bed, he sleeps like a baby. And if my papa can sleep like a baby, isn't it logical that a baby should sleep like my papa? Huh? Well, I gotta go check up on Willie. So long, mister.
I don't know why we should keep ducking into doorways every time we meet somebody.
Well, I'm just doing it to save my friends embarrassment.
Oh, so you're saving them embarrassment.
Sure. When they see this eye, every one of them will say, well, what does the other guy look like? Then they'll realize that's a platitude and be ashamed of themselves. Hey, look.
Where?
Look at the guy down on his hands and knees, pushing a peanut with his nose. What's the matter, Bud? You lose an election bet?
What? Oh, hello, Fibber and Molly.
Why, Mr. Wilcox.
Yes, I bet on the wrong man for governor, so I have to pay off with this nut-nudging.
Oh.
Why, that's too bad, Mr. Wilcox. Me Uncle Dennis had to do that one. Ah, the poor lad. He was a little cross-eyed, and he kept falling in the gutter.
Well, I don't mind this a bit. In fact, I... Hey, Fibber, where'd you get the black eye? And what does the other fellow look like?
That ain't a very original observation, Wilcox.
He says he got his black eye bumping into a door in the dark, Mr. Wilcox.
Oh, yeah? I suppose he thinks that's original.
Dad, Reddit, I did bump into a door. Come on, Molly. Let Wilcox go on with his nasal maneuvers.
Well, we can talk to him a minute. Doesn't that make your back ache something terrible, Mr. Wilcox?
Yes, it does. And I love it.
What?
How's it come what?
Well, it's done a lot for me. It's done a lot. It's made me sympathize with all the women who have spent weary hours on hands and knees with a scrub brush and pail, when a little Johnson's wax would not only eliminate scrubbing, but would absolutely seal floors and protect woodwork against dirt and dampness.
Harlow, if I was as enthusiastic as you are about Johnson's wax, and I put it in your hand, I'd have it tattooed on my chest.
Oh, yeah? Well, look.
What? heavenly days he has.
Okay. If he thinks I'm going to get tattooed just to top him, he's all wrong.
Well, so long, pal. Bumped into a door.
Go push your peanut. One of these days, that guy's going to...
There. Good day, my dear. A Merry National Apple Week to you, Toggle Joint. Mind if I walk along with you?
Oh, not a bit, Mr. Boomer.
Well, go on, Boomer. I'm waiting. Say it. What does the other fellow look like?
I had no intention of uttering such a bromide, Tumblebug. I come from out west, where the only personal question permitted is, what do you have, boys?
Oh. What part of the West do you come from, Mr. Boomer?
From a little hamlet called Fox Pass, a village of 300 souls and a small scattering of hills. It was there that I spent my boyhood, and the proceeds from a few train robberies. Yes. But what are you doing for the eye, oyster folk?
Well, he's on his way to there. He'll do all right.
I ought to be wearing dark glasses, Butterfizz. They'll shut off the rays of the sun and the hurrays of your friends. I have a pair right here if you care to borrow them.
Oh, gee, thanks. That's swell. Shoot the bloomers to me, Boomer.
Certainly. Are you hot tonight? Now, let me see. Where I put those sunglasses? Had them right here a moment ago. Sunglasses. Here's a snapshot of a jug band I organized when I was in the jug. Recipe for tomato surprise a la Boomer.
Well, what on earth is tomato surprise a la Boomer?
Whole family recipe, my dear. Take 1 can of tomatoes, remove contents, refill can with dynamite, place on the bank vault, catch lighted fuse, and wait for surprise. If this fails, stir for 20 years. Here's a short length of lead pipe, giving a fellow a tap lesson tonight. And a check for short beer. Well, imagine that. No sunglasses. Come to think of it, I threw them away last night after mistaking 3 hearts and 2 spades for a spade flush. Sorry, Glum Glim, and good day to you, my dear.
Come on, McGee. You won't need them anyway. Here's the doctor's office right here.
Hi, Doc. Remember me, Mr. McGee?
Yes. Sit down, Mr. McGee. I want you to be trouble.
Well, are you just being tactful, Doctor? Jeepers, creepers, take a look at his peepers.
I bumped into a door, Doc.
Yes.
Well, I did, Dad Gladys.
It is possible, isn't it, Doctor?
Oh, yes, it's possible.
Hey, Doc, come over to my house right away, will you?
Just as soon as I can, Flanagan. What's the matter?
My kid's been sliding down the banister again. Bring your tweezers.
Yes. Now, what was I going... Oh, yes. I want to look at your eye, McGee.
It's this one, Doc.
Yes, I know. Turn a little this way. That's it. Now, wink. Fine. Now, wink the other eye. Splendid.
I'll say I bumped into the door and winked.
Now, listen here, Molly. I didn't come here...
Hold still, McGee. Yes. Pretty severe contusion.
Yes, and it's badly bruised, too.
The capillary engorgement seems to have involved quite an area of epidermic infusion, but the iris, cornea, and vital venous structures appear to be affected in only a minor